students, welcome to the online education of class 6 science. Dear students, I have started the lesson about the habitat and adaptation. In the previous class, I have been dealing with the different aquatic habitats. In that we discussed about the oceans, adaptation of plants and animals in the ocean habitat. So later on we discussed about the adaptation of the plants in the ponds and lakes. So what kind of plants are grown over there, such as floating plants, submerged plant, completely submerged plants, partially submerged plants. So how they have been adapted to that climate, aquatic habitat, that we have studied in the previous class. And also we studied that about the frog. So frog can stay both inside the water and also on the land. So it can get the food inside the water as well as on the land. So it has a very strong hind legs, so that it can lean and catch its prey. So hence it has a webbed feet which will help it to swim well in the water. So these all things we have discussed in the previous class. So dear students, in the today's class, let me explain you very briefly about the living things around us. So after studying all this, so we have studied the different kinds of habitats, and we also discussed about the many kinds of plants and animals which live in these habitats. So we have made a list in activity number 1. We have made a list of the objects, okay, as plants, animals, objects, and categorized them in the different surroundings. So we have thought of different kinds of objects available in the forest, such as trees, scrapers, climbers, small and big animals, birds, insects. So later on, the big and small birds, the water, soil, dry leaves fallen on the ground, and dead animals, mushrooms, fern. All these are different kinds of things which are available in the forest. Even mushrooms, moss. Okay, so they are all present, right? So think of the objects that you have seen around you in the forest or at this moment in different surroundings or habitat. So can you group them as living and non-living? So there is an active concept that so we need to categorize the objects around you, what you see around you, as living and non-living things. So sometimes it is very easy to make differentiation and for us to know. So the examples of the objects, for example, table, chair, okay, so all these things easily we find that they are the non-living things, whereas we say that they are alive, not alive. Okay, so for example, table, cot, chair, TV, radio, such as the things. Okay, so we also see some of the things, animals around us, so they are full of what? Life. For example, dog, elephant, lion, okay, buffalo, horse, etc. So how do we come to know that something is living or non-living thing? So it is not so easy to decide whether the given object is living or non-living. So we told the people and plants and animals, plants are the living things, okay, but they do not appear to move like the living things, right or not? Though the living things, the plants are the living things, they do not appear like the other living things like us to move. Okay, so they do not show the complete movement. So on the other hand, we say that so dog and pigeon, some other birds, many kinds of animals, they show the movement, whereas the plants, they remain in the same place. And at the same time, bus and car, vehicles, they can all move, but still we consider them as a non-living thing. So plants we consider as a living thing, but they cannot move, whereas the buses and other all the vehicles, they move, but still we keep them under the group of what we consider them as a non-living. So how do you decide that any living thing, any object, as a living and non-living thing? So whether we divide them based on their size, whether small and big, or whether you decide based on their movement and non-movement. So how are you going to decide the living things are living, the things are living or non-living? So even the clouds in the sky also seem to grow in size, whereas some animals, they remain in the small size. Okay, so do you decide based on the size of the growth, we decide them as a living or non-living? So can we say the clouds, they are growing in size? Okay, during the heavy rains, before the rains, the clouds are bigger in size. Can we say that the living thing? So can we say the small insects as a non-living as they are small in size? So how do we distinguish the objects as a living and non-living? So do the living things and non-living things have some common characteristics? So based on that we can distinguish them. So do the living things have some particular characteristics, common characteristics that make us to very difficult or different from the non-living thing? So here we have a wonderful example of some of the living beings and non-living things and their common characteristics to make you understand to say that any object is a living or non-living. Okay, so let us make a list of some characteristics from the textbook or from the surroundings to make us know the common characteristics of the some different objects. So based on that we will distinguish them, distinguish them as a living and non-living thing. So in tomorrow's class, let me explain you about the common characteristics of some of the living things. We will study them in detail. So thank you and have a nice day.